And this is Big Baby Ben back with Wrestling with Bros.
Fellow Philly kid.
Troy Black, baby.
And tonight we have a very special guest, Mateo. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, everyone. Thank you guys for having me. It's such an honor. My name is Mateo Valentine. I am a professional wrestler based in the great Chicago, Illinois. I've been wrestling for about 3 years, and I am your current and reigning and defending Honor Among Wrestling Reborn champion. And it's very
Ooh,
fun.
Very
the
nice.
champ is here.
Thank you.
Mhm.
It's evident. It's awesome.
Yes, I've definitely seen him perform at the last show. And like I said, this is
Fantastic.
one of the wrestlers that he checked off every box, just even outside of just his performance, just wrestling inside the ring, he definitely checked off every box.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
So, moving into the questions for the night,
Of course.
Big Baby Ben, what you got for us?
What inspired you or who inspired you to step in between the squared circle?
Mm,
The short answer is a bunch of the women wrestlers that were on TNA and WWE. I remember when I saw AJ Lee versus Brie Bella during the Divas era when they only had like a 2-minute match.
mhm.
I saw those like few minutes, and I was enamored by how they can combine hyper masculine sport and maintain their femininity and their sensuality, because that was me growing up, me, in college as a queer kid being like, I want to do that. I want to do that. I want to have that kind of moxie,
Yep.
have like play that line of gender and everything like that. It was so alluring. And um what got me into professional wrestling, you can say I got into it because of spite. Um
Oh,
because I wasn't actually I started training at 26 years old.
Mhm.
Before that, college graduation, I was doing the auditions, and I wasn't actually a theater actor. I was doing the auditions, doing shows, doing 6 weeks of rehearsals plus, 4 more weeks of performances for $150
oh
sometimes.
wow.
And
Wow.
or you would do, a sold out run for 2 months, but you only get $40 at the end.
Oh
Uh,
wow.
and all of it. And I remember distinctly that there was this one show that I wanted to be really part of. It was really stupid. It was a Christmas wrestling show. So imagine like the Sugar Plum Fairy, Santa Claus, uh Rudolph and the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and Rudolph and the Seven Reindeers, like all these characters, and it would be set in like a ridiculous no ring wrestling show.
Oh
Okay.
wow.
The director knew I was a mark. So did the fight director.
Mhm.
They knew I was like probably the one of the most like professional wrestling like know-hows,
Mhm.
because I was a mark during that, and I didn't get cast.
Huh.
Wow.
Huh.
I didn't get
Jesus.
cast. And so that was kind of like the whole, you know what, screw it. I'm actually going to be doing this, because
There you go.
if I can't, combine my love for theater and professional wrestling by being part of this wrestling play, then I'm going to be a wrestler. So in a very convoluted sort of way, that kind of answered your question.
I
Okay.
mean, I dig it. I dig it. I
Yeah.
definitely get it. Well, I mean, I
Yeah.
think it definitely paid off. Like I said, like beyond just the wrestling, like the emotions, the acting, and that's all
Hmm.
part of what we do. And like, you definitely check off all those boxes, bro. Like that shit was great. That shit was
Yes.
great. It was so great to the point, like, Big Baby, I had to ask him like if he was actually good after the matches. I'm like, I don't know if he's actually okay or if he's
Ooh.
like really in the moment, but he's like, no.
You really played off. You played off really well.
Wow.
That's one of my, I like to call my saving graces whenever I perform, is, when I look hurt, people will literally think that it's like, do I need to call 911 or something? It's like, I have 911 on I 911 on my phone. I'm just ready to push that one. And so
I
it's
know
just,
when they were stomping on like your hands and stuff in that last match, I like legitimately thought you were injured. Like you were like
yeah.
it was crazy. What would you say is the hardest part when becoming a wrestler? What would you say is the hardest part overall of becoming a wrestler?
The hardest part for me as a professional wrestler was essentially learning the whole entire language of the whole professional wrestling world.
Okay.
You hear it's like, again, I call it a language because it's like, if once you kind of master the mechanics of the language, you get to play with it no matter what. And so it's like, I remember it's just like, that was like the one thing that I knew, that as long as I got what people were saying and what really wanted and all, and what the technique was in the language, then I was like, oh, I got it. So it's like, once it's just like, I remember we're gonna do this, this, and 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 this. And I'm like, okay. So boom, boom. And so it's like, I remember my first few days, I'm like, I'm struggling to learn it. But now it's just like more and more reps come in. You're just like, oh yeah, I got you.
Okay.
It's like when you're seeing like a Canadian Destroyer Rama spot, it's like, okay, you want to do this? We're going to do this. We're going to do a Canadian Destroyer Rama spot. After that, we'll super kick each other. Go. And I'm like, okay.
Bet.
Yeah, bam, bada boom, shakalaka. and so I think it's like, anyone that wants to be part of the wrestling world as a fan, as a person who wants to participate in it, I always say it's like, once you kind of like master it's like the language of it all in your particular kind of field, as a fan, as a reporter, as a podcaster, or anything, once you kind of get master like the language, is like, what do we mean by this? What do we mean by that? Blah, blah, blah. You're all good. You get to like, it's like a little thing that people don't know, and that you can like go to like the main world and be like, oh yeah, you guys don't know about this.
Okay. Well, that was, he had asked, what it was like to on your upcoming of becoming a wrestler, what was the hardest? So now that you are a wrestler, what would you say is your hardest challenge now? Now you've already mastered the language. What would now be your hardest challenge?
I think the hardest challenge is, I know sounds so corny, but it's like, it's definitely the main challenge is battling yourself and your self-doubt. Because now that we have social media and we have all these social media accounts like Wrestling with Unicorns. I love you, Martin. I love you. I love you, Martin. Wrestling with Unicorns. I love you, Jokai. I love y'all with that. Jim breaks armbar, with all like with all the new school and the old school stuff. And now it's like all over on social media. There are like Twitter feeds and and compilations of like certain matches that are like, this is like perfect. And it's just like clips of like how it was really good. I think the main obstacle that I have is really myself, because unfortunately, when you get down to the brass tacks into it, it is show business. And you kind of have to figure out how to find your weaknesses and hide them well, show off your strengths and show them off even more. But people are still going to see those weaknesses, and so you're just going to try to like
cover them as best as you can.
Yeah, cover them as best as you can. Exactly. And so it's just like, especially with social media, especially with social media and all these like accounts, you're just like, oh yeah, why can't I want to do that. I want to do this. I want to do this. Why can't I do this? Why can't I do this? Why can't I, go into why can't I go into a Rana and then reverse that into a sunset, into a pin that goes into a power bomb? It's like sometimes our bodies are not meant for that. And that that gets into our heads a lot, being like, oh, I've seen this spot, I want to try doing it, blah blah blah, and I can't do it. That's always the battle. You got to figure out what even though it's like you see this and you think you can't do it, it's like, okay, this might not work for me now, but I can figure out something that can work for me later or something like that.
Okay, that makes sense. I dig that. I accept that. So now we've talked about all the hard things. What's your favorite thing about like wrestling? Whether it's with HAW or wrestling with unicorns, like wherever you go, what is your favorite thing about wrestling?
Honestly, it's the fans.
Oh, yep.
It's the fans, because I'll tell you a little about my experiences in theater and in that kind of show business. You know, you're kind of told, I experienced like the whole, it's like, you can't be, you can be gay, but you can't be total gay. You can't be, in order to like to sell tickets and all, sometimes you can't be too effeminate, or else you won't get that kind of like starring role. You'll always be stuck in the typecast roles that you're part of and all that. What I love about professional wrestling, and what I love about the fans and all, and that's what drives me and what keeps me going, is the fact that I can just be 100% myself and be the person that I always wanted to be when I was 12, 13, growing up, realizing who I am as a person, and have that reflect off the audience, and they just see that. They just see a celebration of life, and that's what they snag onto. And it's just like, that's what that's what wants people to buy a ticket. You either hate their guts a lot, you hate them, but then you see someone who is just free. Because we all want to be free. It's like we watch TV and like we see these, it's like, I want to be like that, but it's just like,
not always that easy.
No, it's not.
But you make it look very easy. Like the very first time I see, I was like, "Oh yeah, that motherfucker. Yeah, he's got the charisma."
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's a way of life.
Like,
It's a way of life, baby.
I'm
It's
like,
a
oh
way.
yeah, yeah. I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah. That's why he's champ. He does everything. Like that's why he's champ. He's got everything. Like I said, he's marked off every book.
Yeah.
Every
Thank you.
So
he's got the charisma, he's got the look, he's got the suit.
when you're training and prepping for a match, how often during the week and whatnot, as you're leading up to the match, would you say you would need to train? How often? Like how many hours, time frame, kind of things like that.
When I usually have when I see, now you're calling me out. Oh God. When I usually have like matches and all, when I know I have one, sometimes it's just like, okay, because y'all are calling me out on that one. God damn. Stupid mental health. God damn it. I haven't been Boz, if you're listening to this, I'm sorry that I haven't been showing up to practice in like the last like 2 months. And all of like the CSW kids are, if you guys are listening to this, don't monkey see, monkey do. But like the preparation for it, it's like going into the ring and practicing. It's a I don't know. I
called you out.
I don't know, because it's just like sometimes it's like when I know I'm gonna have like say a gauntlet match.
Mhm.
Or a you know, an 8-person tag. Obviously I want to like work my way up to that, you know. So it's just like, okay, so let's work on my cardio. Let's work on, what, let's
So each match is different.
yeah, essentially each match is very different, and so it's just
Very.
like, I don't know, it's like, so it's like one thing can't fit into the other, so it's just like I
Right.
apply what might work into another one, but sometimes A doesn't always equal B.
Okay.
Do you
What
have
was
a favorite match type to be in?
I was just about to
Favorite?
ask that. I was
Oh
just about to
gosh.
ask that.
Well, there is my patented, not my patented, but I have a signature gimmick match. But I don't, it's I prefer tag matches.
What is this gimmick match of yours?
Oh,
I'm
it's
very
called
curious.
so it started at and so it was jokingly started. It's called a beauty supply match. So
Okay.
essentially it's like no disqualifications, but instead of like the typical tables, ladders, and chairs, it's all beauty supplies. And so I
Oh,
remember
Nice.
so I
okay.
That's
remember
creative.
and so I remember like my first match with Ryan Matthews. There was we shattered a mirror, like a hand mirror. I waxed someone's chest, and
Oh,
I got my hair cut in front and all that. And so it's just like, no matter where I go, everyone's like, so when are we going to see a beauty supply match? Um,
woo.
and so I love doing it because it's just like, it's a gimmick. It's
Hmm.
like, it's my way of being like, oh, this is my form of death match.
Okay. I like
Okay.
it. So is it
But
hard to find another opponent for that match or
no, it's not hard. It's just the ability to find and supply the beauty supplies.
yeah.
Those can be pricey.
Yeah, no, it just is. It just is. I can
Yeah,
see
Yeah.
that.
it's expensive.
Amazon does great things, but sometimes you gotta like, I gotta like call out like my beauty supply friends, being like, yo, do you have anything left over that I can use for beauty supplies? Any lipsticks that you guys might not need, palettes, brushes, hell,
Mhm.
like, if you guys have like a blow dryer or anything like that, please give it to me.
I wouldn't want to get hit with a blow dryer.
Yeah, oh God.
Or a curling iron.
Yeah, that's gonna hurt just a bit.
That's an interesting match. I would definitely pay to see that.
Yeah, I
I'd
would
definitely
definitely
pay to
too.
see that. I don't
Don't
think
give
I would
any
partake
ideas
in
to
that.
HAW.
Oh.
Beauty supply match, HAW, let's make it happen.
Who knows? Theseus versus Mateo Valentine beauty supply match for the
There we
Reborn
go.
Championship.
Ooh,
Yeah.
man, that sounds like it's
Ooh.
almost a challenge again.
I think he
I
called.
mean, if you're listening to Theseus, prove it to me that you want a beauty supply match. So
Ooh, okay, all right.
Okay.
You might have to get him on here, see what he has to say to that one.
So when you're going about choosing your gimmick and when you're starting wrestling and stuff, um, how do you go about choosing the gimmick that you want to be?
oh, when I was starting to train and everything by Steve Boz, and he told me that the best gimmick is yourself times 100.
Okay.
And I get I get a lot of flack for people saying it's like, oh, you can't, you know, I am queer. I am proudly queer. Oh my God. It's like, I will wear that rainbow flag. I don't care if you're a freaking,
No judgment at all, man.
yeah, I don't care and all that stuff. But like for me, it's just like, so when people say it's like, oh, you're doing the gay gimmick, and it's like, you have anything else? It's like, gay can't just be your gimmick. It's like, no, it's me. It's like, it's not, it's me, but it's like what I said earlier. It's like Mateo Valentine is what 12-year-old Mateo wanted to be from 8th grade to high school. Britney Spears loving MTV, always wanting to do the music video dances, being, looking, being all that. And when you're told to like suppress it and all that, nah, Mateo Valentine is everything that I always wanted to be growing
So
growing
you're
up.
saying basically, essentially, always be yourself.
Yeah, always, yeah.
Best gimmick, being yourself is the best.
Exactly, being yourself. It's like, obviously, of course, it's like sometimes I'm just like, oh, I hate people and all that stuff, but it's just like I don't show it.
Gimmick.
But yeah, the best gimmicks I will always say is yourself times 100, and sometimes you can go that and then sometimes you can go, as long as you have a sense of self, you can put that into a different character and all.
Okay, I like that. What would you say is like your most like I don't want to say just horrible match, but what match would you say that you've gone through and you just kind of like remember it like, wow, yeah, I never want to go through that type of match again? Or like a moment in the match where you're just like, oh my God, I can't believe it. I can't wait till this is over.
Wow, you guys are really wanting to know the tea.
Of course. Spill it. Spill it.
Well, we brought you on here.
I know. Y'all want to be shady.
You don't have to name drop.
I'm not gonna name drop, but yes, I've had those times. Let's just say I've had those times that, I was like, this is shit. This is a train wreck. But in the end, I got seen, I got paid.
Okay.
And so it's just, I got seen, I got paid. The promoter said, you did the best of like what you were given, and I'm not going to complain as long as the promoter and the company says it's like, I am so sorry that you were doing, you were doing the best of what you're given, and I appreciate you with that. I'm fine.
Was it just like the person's move, like a specific move that they hit you with, or like the just move set in general, or just the chemistry? Like what was off that made it?
I think what was just off was just, let's see. I think it was just the circumstances. I think it's just circumstances that happen. Sometimes it's beyond our control. Sometimes there are times that we can control it. But I think obviously wrong place, wrong time, right place, right time. You can never predict it.
Okay. Okay. Makes sense. Makes sense. You said you've been doing this for 3 years?
3 years, yes.
How long you plan on making this like a full-on career? Like this is what you want to dedicate yourself to, like completely?
Well, obviously, because I'm a theater kid, my first dream will always and forever will be Broadway.
Okay. Respectful. I respect that.
And so since I left acting, doing wrestling, I do want to make it a career. I do want to make it, not like I would love to have my shoot job, like full-time shoot job, very very cozy shoot full-time job, and then having wrestling, a lot of consistent wrestling bookings that is able to help supplement income.
Of course. Of course. Of course. It makes sense.
Yeah, and so obviously that's currently what I want. Who knows, maybe Impact will call and be like, okay, let's dream bigger. Let's dream bigger, Mateo. You got Impact and now you got the shoot job. Okay, what are you going to do now? You're going to do a lot more bookings? Yes. Okay, let's do this.
Okay.
What would you say when it comes to being a heel or face? What would be your favorite to be?
I think like the sad thing about it is because I am so charismatic, it's like a lot of people, including myself, have only seen me face.
Okay.
And
I think it would be
so
very weird to see him as a heel.
Yeah, it would be.
exactly, a lot
Like
of people
just
were just like, a lot of people like say it's just like, I can't turn you heel because you are so charismatic and you know how to suck and you know that the crowd freaking loves you and all. And so it's just like I like to call it the forever babyface curse.
Yeah.
But I would love to be a bitch in the ring. I would love to say shut up to people.
It's just not you, though.
I
Well,
feel
it's
like I feel like he could almost pull it off, almost like a Tiffany Stratton type of attitude because she has that
it
attitude.
like a
But
Paris
yes, she
Hilton
is.
gimmick. If I
Yeah.
was like Paris Hilton and all,
Mm-hmm.
period.
Mm-hmm.
Baby,
I can
did you have
see it.
something you wanted to say?
I was actually wanting to know, how does locker room morale affect your ring performance?
Hmm. It's everything because it's like having that support from the boys in the back and the girls in the back. We all want you to it's If we all have the mindset of like we all want you to succeed, because if we all succeed then the show succeeds, and the show succeeds then it's like we're able to get more and more, like the promotion succeeds and all. It's I would say it I'm fortunate enough to be part of locker rooms that are so inviting and caring and aware of that fact, and aware of like there are different types of people there, of different creeds, races, orientations, genders, and all, that we're all just that, we're all like, okay, do you want to do a superplex off the top rope or a Spanish fly? That it's just like, it's like we can like be able to just work and not be able to like worry about egos or anything. And so I'm very fortunate that I that the promotions that I am at, the locker room is so supportive, and with them being so supportive, I am able to I am able to create my craft and make it as great as I can during my match.
Okay. Okay. So what would you say is like within your 3 years, what move have you not achieved that you want to try? And what move have you like, what would you say is your favorite
Oh, okay. My moves, you mean?
move? Mm-hmm.
Um, there's a little video that I posted on like long time ago on on Instagram and Twitter. I will never call it X. Shut up, Elon. Um, there's a little video of me doing a practicing a moonsault.
Mm. Okay. Okay.
I would love to do a moonsault off the top rope. It's just like it's like, come on, Lita. When you
Oh
grew
yeah.
up watching Lita do the Lita salt
Mm-hmm.
and seeing like this girl can fucking do it, and then all of a sudden you see Tiffany Stratton do, PME and all,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
and you're just and a moon, and then of course Io Shirai.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm like, seeing that, I was just like, I always just, and also Eve too during the Divas era. I always wanted to do I always wanted to do a moonsault,
Mm-hmm.
because it's like it's so, because I love women's wrestling so much. It's so iconic in the history of women's wrestling. And then a move that I love just doing all the time there too. Um, I love doing the eat defeat on people
Mm-hmm.
because I love Gil Kim.
Okay.
She's one of my pillars.
Hall of Fame
It's
career.
Yeah, Hall of Fame career, deservedly. I love doing the eat defeat because every time I do the eat defeat, uh, it's in it's easy for them to take and eat. It's not a weak ass move, okay? I don't like it. I don't. It's not a weak ass move. I hate when people are like, it's like why do people want to do the eat defeat? It's like, dude, have you ever gotten like you got your arm twist? It's like someone's pulling your arm, and so like by gravity they're pulling you're gonna get pulled, and then they just kick you in the face.
Mm.
It's
Savage.
like that's
If you
that's
see
worse.
that on the, you
That's
see that on
worse than
YouTube,
getting like literal curb stomped because you're looking at the bitch in the eye.
oh yeah, and you're standing up.
And you're
Yes,
standing up
you're
while
standing up.
I'm literally putting my foot in your face and
We're
being
making
like,
eye
yeah,
contact.
you're gonna get you're probably gonna need to get Botox, you know. So
Now,
that's one of my favorite moves that I will always defend, being like, and when people call it a weak ass move, it's not. And then a second move is a good old fashioned Northern Light suplex because good fun story about that when I was first starting to train, when we were learning suplexes, I couldn't suplex correctly at all. I would always land on my butt and like it would turn into a brain buster. And so
Ow.
it's because my feet wouldn't leave the floor. It's because my feet wouldn't leave the floor or
jeez.
something like that. And so because I think I was just because it was, again, this was me starting out and being like, okay, it's like I can't, if I'm lifting someone, I can't just like, I can't do it. And so I remember because Alicia Fox is one of my pillars too when it comes to, you know, when it comes to mastering the moves that and also selling. Alicia always did well, Victoria Crawford now. She would always do the Northern Light suplex. And with the bridge, it was always so pretty. And I was just like, I want it. And I've been practicing like I would bridge when I was like 12 years old. I've been doing it. And so when I asked my trainer, it's like, can I learn how to do like a Northern Light suplex and all? Taught me and everything. Perfect off the first time.
There we go.
There you go.
Perfect
There
off
we
the
go.
second time. Bada boom shakalaka. Guess what? Bridge, and no one does. I'm pretty sure it's just like I think there's an unspoken rule at my home promotion. There are no bridges unless you can make it look great as Mateo's.
Damn. Damn.
Because
Speaking
I
of
bridge
that,
very well, and so it's
where
just like
where is your home training gym?
it's a Chicago style wrestling.
Chicago
It's
style
in
rest.
Franklin Park. Franklin Park. We let's and then there's the Chicago style wrestling training academy that where I started out. You had great people like Axel Rico there. Let's see, Chris Miller is there. Victor Anestra. We had a lot of Ryan Matthews, a lot of people who are in AEW Dark, a
Mm-hmm.
lot. And then I think our most notable student who was who was part of the academy went on to the CSW shows now, is Sky Blue.
Okay.
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 And so yeah, Sky Blue like was there like the first few times.
That's crazy. That's
When
nuts.
I was starting out.
Mhm. Damn, that's nuts. That's
Yeah.
nuts. Okay, you're in there. You're around it.
Yeah,
You're
and
definitely in the circuit.
I'm very grateful for my training because it was and the people there too, because it's like it wasn't like it was very positive reinforcement, and then when you needed to do constructive criticism, everybody was willing to help. And so that's what you kind of need when you first start out, is just like I work as a person who I work better if the carrot is in front of me and people are encouraging me to reach the carrot than someone whipping me from behind.
Okay, that makes sense to me. I feel that 100%.
And so like being part of that school in which it's like we're all okay, it's like we're all able to like positively reinforced, but when it comes down to like the brass tacks and loving the business, it's like we're willing to like come in and like detail work and give constructive criticism and everything like that. And that's why I love that school. That school is amazing.
All right. Okay.
So, not to cut everybody off, but we're down to that part of the show where we got to give our honorable mentions. Troy Black, you want to start?
Um, I guess my honorable mentions, of course, goes out to Mateo, but I would also have to do an honorable mention out to Danny, owner of HAW, because if it wasn't for me seeing HAW, I would have never had that chance to meet all these amazing wrestlers such as
Oh,
Mateo
thank you.
himself. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Thank
so
you,
that
Danny.
shout out to both of them, Danny and Mateo.
Appreciate you being so willing to come on here and talk to us. You're very charismatic. We really love you in the ring. You're an amazing wrestler. So thank you for your time tonight.
Oh, thank you, guys.
Yes, I feel like it's a very powerful podcast.
Definitely.
Like, I feel like, yeah, you can definitely feel it.
My honorable mention also goes to Mateo. Very high energy. I feel that you love this sport. I feel the charisma. Um, I see big things in you, man. I
Thank
see you
you.
taking off. You got the gimmick. It's you.
Yes.
You got this, man. Much love and
There's a
much love
reason
to
why I was on Effie's Big A brunch twice.
By the way, Mateo, my t-shirt size is large, so
I got you.
yeah, I'm gonna need one of them t-shirts for sure.
XL, I got you.
I'm a little bit bigger boy, so I need a 2X.
Okay. I got new shirts. I got new shirts coming in, so
I'll rock it.
Hey,
Yeah, we'll rock it for sure.
Hey, especially we get a little sneak peek on it.
Oh yeah.
Hey, okay,
All
okay,
right.
we can arrange that. We can arrange that.
Sounds good.
Well,
All right,
I'm Big Baby Ben.
Billy Kid.
Troy Black, baby.
And we appreciate you, Mateo, and thank you for coming on. And this has been another amazing episode of Wrestling with Bros.